This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This is Comics Illustrator Ron Friends, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all.
This is a world of Capes and Lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello and... why's that crack? Hello and welcome back to the Capes and Lunatics, episode 159. All my babies are here. Anyway, I am Phil. Joining me tonight is... coming to me from the middle of an earthquake in New Jersey.
I'm trying to adjust this camera. I don't like the angle. It's Charlie, the Professor Essa.
Like you have a bad angle.
More like Charlie the Pretty Boy Esther, am I right, people?
The problem was because it's an undershot. I was all lower torso, and my head just looked like the peak of Mount Everest. And
Enough of your under boob. And coming to you from Florida, somewhere down there, is...
Hey, y'all, Queen of the Armadillos, Little Hellfire, what's up?
And coming to us from his fortress in Ohio, it is...
It's Tyler. Hanging out here in the Cave of Solitude.
See, the music knew to shut up when Tyler was about to speak.
It knew it was time.
Oh, please, Charlie, quit playing with the mustache. He was complaining before we got on that it's the one side's growing up and one side's growing down.
Oh, no.
It frustrates me.
You gotta get on that, Charlie.
How did those 19th century men keep that under control?
They had, you know what, they used...
Wet.
I will be honest with you, they had higher quality mustache wax, higher quality hold. If I had some good old classic fop, maybe I'd be okay right now, but or Dapper Dan, but no, I'm stuck with hipster stuff, and that just, it doesn't do, really what I want is Clubman's mustache wax. That stuff has hold. But you can only get it if you go to like the cosmetic shops, and those aren't like well, actually, they might be starting to open up now, but now it's a whole thing.
We're gonna be in the green next week. Woohoo! Like Friday.
For a week anyway, sure.
Well, till the fall, probably. Come on.
No, I watch. Trust me, it's my job. I gotta watch these spikes. I'm like, oh, go down, 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 spike, down, 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 spike, down, 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 spike. It's a stagger step, but it keeps on spiking. So
sounds like a blind, Jan.
I'm just saying, man. I was creating the phases for our COVID response return policy, and as I'm going through all the data, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, if this happens, we can do this, but if this other thing happens, we're going back to this one, and it's a lot of mess out there, and yeah. Anyway, that's that. So yes, if you're lucky enough not to have everything closed yet, wear a mask.
That's enough adulting.
Yes, let's get to some serious stuff. Like Tyler, you weren't here last week. I know. Unlike the rest of us, you're excited for a Snyder cut, aren't you?
I am. And this is all I'm going to say. I'm excited because there's enough evidence that the movie is going to have a lot of footage, a lot of stuff that we never saw.
Yeah, didn't they say 6 hours?
They said he had a 5-hour assembly cut. 4 hours was his first put together cut. So they're looking at doing for like 6-episode miniseries around 40 minutes a piece. I just want to see all the footage.
Yeah.
I want Flash to not look like a goofball. I want Cyborg's story.
That's not Whedon's doing. That's Ezra Miller's doing. Okay?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I've watched Justice League enough to kind of tell what's what.
Or what you assume is what.
Why do you hate yourself?
Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at Ezra Miller's hair. His hair is a dead giveaway of reshoots. Mm-hmm. Look at the background and the colorization. especially if you watch on higher definition, you can see how they faded out the backgrounds a lot of times to kind of make it look fuzzier so that it blends in. I mean, a great example is the scene where Batman first goes to the Flash's house and he throws the Batarang and he catches it and he has the line from the trailer and then he starts talking about brunch. That is all reshoot, and you can tell. It's so obvious.
Batman.
Yeah, brunch, I have to assume, is a Whedon. That's 99% Whedon.
I mean, there is so much in it that you can start to tell, like, more and more, just where the footage was altered, colorization. Look at Affleck's face, like his beard and in his cheeks, or you can tell
He was definitely drinking through the Wheaton reshoots. That's all I'm going to say about
Here's
it.
what I am going to say. I am actually very excited about this. I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about Cavill being put in as something of a connective tissue, the way that the Marvel Universe had Nick Fury or the Hulk appearing in a lot of different franchises.
Well, yeah, isn't that what the article said, that he's going to kind of be like the Hulk, where he's not going to get his own solo movie. He's just going to show up in everyone else's movie.
Well, he's going to be a connective tissue. Now, maybe that means, yes, there is not going to be another standalone Superman movie for a little while. That does not preclude it. The only reason the Hulk doesn't have a standalone movie is because because he has the Norton one, which was the last one made. Tristan said that the Hulk does have a standalone movie. Those were made with Universal. Right now,
You don't remember the MCU one?
yes, it was MCU, Tristan, but that predates the current thing. Anyway,
But they have to give money to
Okay.
Universal.
it
it's
predates
okay.
the
Yes, I know you
Disney
interrupt. I
buyout.
can't always hear you either. So it sounds like I'm just talking to myself. But here's what I want to say. It tells me that DC has learned that just because something doesn't work, you don't throw it away. You say, okay, maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. Let's see what else we can do. Let's keep on our strategy. Because Marvel could have bailed at any time. Marvel could have bailed on the interconnected universe after Hulk. When Thor the Dark World wasn't what they wanted it to be. They could have said, this isn't working. Instead, they stuck with it. They said, no, we've got a plan, and we're going to walk through it. Now, is Snyder's plan the right plan? I'm not going to say that in anything. Man did not put a shirt on Darkseid, and I don't like a shirtless Darkseid.
My thing is, I don't expect this to be a continuation of Snyder's plan. I think we're going to... the only film that may have some sort of effective retconning, whatever, is Aquaman. But
there's a lot of Aquaman footage missing.
I don't see the Snyder cut, because people are arguing which movie's canon. I don't think it's going to matter, because I really don't see it this coming out and then them building off the back of this in any way. The movies we have.
I know they could Superman return this whole thing though, Tyler. They really could. This could be the daughter cut. We don't know. AT&T is being really weird right now.
I'm not holding my breath on anything. Already the rumors are starting that Ben Affleck's going to come back as Batman. And I'm just like, you know what? I said, when it comes to with any of the Warner DC films, until I'm sitting in the seat, basically, then I'll really commit to belief.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I get the feeling that just the fact that they're going to say they're going to have Cavill in a lot of things, and the way that Cavill, to some extent or another, is ostensibly in Shazam.
Yeah.
It's the Cavill suit in Shazam.
Yeah.
And that is this idea of creating this interconnected universe. And I honestly get the feeling that they're going to say, you know what? Let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Now, maybe it's not going to be Snyder's 100% vision, but it's a starting point.
Right.
John Favreau didn't direct a lot more after Iron Man, He started something. Oh, he did Iron Man 2 too? Yeah, well, we all saw how that went too. So, and again,
the Iron Man trilogy holds up, unlike Thor.
Anyway, well, Thor gets better as it goes on.
And Iron Man 2 is better than 3. Fighting nerd.
Iron Man 2 got sacrificed to backdoor S.H.I.E.L.D., and Iron Man 3 is like a disconnected film that doesn't pay off anywhere else.
Too many empty suits flying around in Iron Man 3.
Anyway, at the end of the day, but that's sort of the thing. There's always going to be criticism. And I think that's what DC has learned. Is like, oh, you know what? You can't make nerds happy. So maybe we should just make films that make a lot of money and not worry so much that the nerds are going to say, well, you know, technically, in this scene, you have this storyline, but then that's sort of undone in your next film. And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't seem to be connected, you know, even though they always do. Like, if you're a good nerd, you know that. But, you know, and if DC stops trying to please the nerds, they may have a really good extended DC universe. Because,
like I said, you know, Snyder had his 5-movie idea. I don't think the Snyder Cut represents continuing his idea. Like you said, Cavill is present. It is, I mean, I like my thing is I'm excited at the idea of him coming and doing more Superman. I think he got shortchanged a lot with how his portrayal got changed for, you know, BVS and then Justice League. But until I see like footage being shot and actually plans, I'm not like super excited. Like I feel like all we get is talk until I see like some actual footage progression. Then I'll be more excited. Like they've talked it up so much.
I know what you're excited for. It's the black suit. That's the only godforsaken reason why I'm even curious about the movie. Because we all saw the footage and we looked at the movie and said, what the hell happened to the black suit?
I don't want the black suit unless the mullet comes with it.
Honestly,
he does have a mullet and a beard the whole time.
Honestly, with everything with the Snyder Cut, I'll tell you what I'm most interested in is Cyborg. Because
even
in the other cut, I call it the Alan Smithy cut at this point. I watched that film and I really liked what Ray Fisher was doing. And that's the one I felt like out of every character, like, yeah, Barry got shortchanged because they made him a complete butt of all jokes. But Cyborg was supposed to be like the heart of the film, and I want to see his story. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, my problem with the black suit is mostly that apparently that relates to that dark Superman future where Superman decides he's going to join forces with Darkseid. And that's apparently what the whole Dark Dream sequence was that...
Well, we do know that nightmare scene was to take place in what would have been part of Justice League Part 2. And then there was Justice League and Justice League Part 2. And then when they went to film Justice League, they reworked the stories into one film. And that's what they shot. And then that's where we got our 4-hour movie. And then when they went in to do the reshoots is where Whedon wrote his 80 new pages and shot 80 pages to an hour and 46-minute movie. So, and if you're thinking, you know, 80 pages, that's a minute per page in film talk. That's the majority of the film that we saw. So I just want to see like the vision that was originally established because we had more with these characters. And I want to see, like I said, Cyborg. I want to see the Iris West rescue scene. I want to see the football game. I want to see Mark McClure's original cameo.
My sweet summer child.
So,
yeah, I mean, we'll see what it is. If anyone can ever actually get access to HBO Max, because you can't get it if you have Roku. You can't get it if you have. You can't get it if you have a Fire Stick.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right now, the only thing I can watch it on is my phone.
That is, I could not believe when I found out that it's not on Roku. Because Roku is always like,
what are you doing?
Or any Amazon thing. Yeah, I have an Amazon Fire Cube. Nope.
I know the Amazon because Amazon's really strict. Because like when I was working for Spectrum, their app was not approved for Fire Stick. They had problems with getting it on Fire Stick because for a while there was issues with Amazon adding things to their Fire Stick.
Yeah, but DC Universe is on there.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
Well,
Like,
you remember the DC Universe wasn't at the start.
Okay.
You remember I had that problem that DC Universe
gonna say, I
wasn't
didn't
on
have the
Pleasure,
Amazon.
or I could only watch DC Universe when that first came out on my phone. And
but
it's
it
the same
kills
thing.
me
Disney
with
Plus is
Roku. Because
Yeah.
Roku is like the safe one that everyone buys. That's supposed to be able to do everything.
It came with that brand new TV.
It's built into a lot of TVs now.
They dropped
And I mean, you can do HBO Go and HBO Now on Roku. So why can't you have HBO Max?
I don't think it's the same infrastructure, honestly.
I don't think it is either. But there's a lot of people who have HBO Go or Now. I can't remember which one's which.
Well,
but it's now turned over to HBO Max.
I think wasn't it the Now? maybe?
HBO Now has become HBO Max.
Right. that's what
HBO Go. HBO Go is what you have if you have a subscription to HBO Go. HBO Now is what you have if you buy a separate subscription to HBO outside of the HBO
cable
package. So that's the differentiation. But the problem with HBO Now is you can't sign into HBO Now if you have an HBO. If you have a streaming HBO, so you can't access it just because you have the way that you can HBO Go. But also HBO Go isn't being very cooperative right now either. So right now I've got HBO Go and HBO Now. Neither one is working.
But now we know why they dropped it on a Wednesday, so they could actually maybe have it up by the weekend. And we've solved it.
I mean, I've been exploring it, and it's okay. I mean, it's got some stuff on there, but a lot of it's just like, I don't know. Big Bang Theory is one thing that's excited about, but if you've had CBS All Access, it was already there. Friends is streaming on there, but it's like I hate when it leaves one streaming service to go to another. Like it was, up until December, it was on Netflix, and now here we are 5 months later, and it's on.
I mean, I guess you could watch any episode, but I was just watching Friends on TBS today.
Yeah,
right. And it even says when you log into HBO Max, it has Friends at times says like finally here or something like that, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of stuff jumping services and having to chase stuff on a streaming platform.
Yeah,
that's why
syndication.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff I found on there. They have it's interesting. We've probably we talked about this. It would only be logical for DC Universe to get rolled up into HBO Max because they have a DC tab on there, and a lot of the similar stuff is already there. There's a lot of crossover movies. Not as much the cartoons, but a couple. HBO Max has Beware the Batman. DC Universe doesn't have Beware the Batman.
Yeah, they got Beware the Batman. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
poopity poop.
What they do have in their new content, which again, not pushing the new content. I don't know why. I don't know, because actually their new content, one of the new contents they have is completely redone new Looney Tunes cartoons.
I watched 6 of them today.
And I loved those. I mean, I'm going to be honest, their Bugs Bunny cartoons, not their best. But Bugs Bunny was never my favorite character. But first one you get, which has a real old school Daffy and Porky buddy comedy on the road to the Monkey Bird Temple. That is just such a brilliant piece of transgressive Looney Tunes comedy, cross-dressing marriages, half Daffy Duck babies. It's amazing.
I mean,
and I loved it.
I watched like the first 6 episodes, I think, or 5. Because I put on one to check it out, and then my kids were like, "Let's watch another one. Let's do another one." They were enjoying it, so we just kept watching it, and that was one of the first things. But I'm with you. Like, think back to when Netflix started Netflix originals. Was there anything that really took off as a Netflix original until the Marvel shows hit? Until like Daredevil?
A couple things. Orange is the New Black, and then that one werewolf show by Eli Roth that was big until like season 3 for that.
Okay, and that's what I was trying to think of because I feel like it took a while for Netflix originals to start to gain like oomph, you know?
Well, yeah. They had to get an established fan base to want to watch their stuff. That's where the Marvel shows helped Netflix. In many ways, many argue helped save Netflix.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like launching these platforms, I feel like, with original content, but not like, I don't know, having some sort of identified IP original coming, I think would help. Like something more than just, you know, Apple's got a
none of their stuff is ready to go. Like the Gossip Girl reunion, the reunion season, that's not ready to go. There's a couple other things that they were working on as revivals and stuff that aren't ready to go. The Game of Thrones, you know, House of whatever it is, House of Dragons, it's not ready to go. That, you know, the Game of Thrones prequel or whatever, that's not ready to go.
And I mean,
it's like,
it's like with Disney Plus, there was all this, Disney had all this talk about they're going to give us all these Marvel shows, and here we are almost a year after launch, and we haven't got one. The only thing we really got has been The Mandalorian, which was great.
Well, but we got that day one.
But so many people jumped on, watched that, then dropped off.
But did Corona slow that down any at all? Then?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, to me, there's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus that I can jump on, and I can always find something fun on Disney Plus. You know,
well, I can too. But you know, a lot of the stuff for me, like, is I want originals, and stuff that you're talking about doing. You know, like, because Janine and I were talking about it the other day, and she's like, "Well, what else? You know, the HBO Max gonna be?" And I was like, "Well, that's where eventually we're supposed to get that Justice League Dark series. We're supposed to get the Green Lantern series." So, I just want some original stuff that, like Lila said about the prequel to Game of Thrones, something that is like comfort, like something you kind of know enough about, instead of some of these originals that are like, okay, that just looks, it's completely original. Maybe I'll watch it. I don't have any relationship with it. You know, Mandalorian was out the door of Star Wars, you know, and it had everyone hooked.
I know, and I thought that was a brilliant idea to have that thing. And what I will say is, I think that had HBO Max pushed their, you know, like if all they had was Looney Tunes and Elmo, they should have really sold that. Because first off, if nothing else, Looney Tunes and Elmo are insanely memeable. These are things that you can get a social media romp on that could have helped them in these moments. You know, and I think that's where I think that, you know, and I think maybe their launch date getting hit by Corona in the same way that the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus has got hit by the Corona, you know, they're kind of stuck in this spot. Now, maybe HBO Max could have delayed their launch date, but then, of course, there's all these costs involved in that. And so I think maybe what HBO Max is going to do is they're going to basically try to break even until they can bust out.
That's why they're doing the Snyder cut. Just saying, they're trying to get that money.
That was their big thing.
Except that's not going to give them money for like months.
I know, but that's the weird. Yeah, because that was their big publicity thing for HBO Max. They're like, oh, we're going to have the Snyder cut next year.
And it should have. Honestly, it should have been at launch. They should have dropped it out of surprise and guaranteed at launch, because that would have rushed.
I mean, you had 3 years.
But they weren't going to have that at launch because, first off, they didn't. I mean, I think on some level they were kind of forced to do. I kind of get the feeling. So basically, here's my thought on the Snyder cut: is that essentially they, probably because of Corona, they had no way to get the content they wanted to on. Now, I don't know what's left on Doom Patrol, because I would have launched season 2 of Doom Patrol.
There you go.
You know, that would have been the smart thing, because it says it's coming. It's coming relatively soon.
It's the end of June. Like, it's June 25th.
I bet you they're kicking themselves they didn't take Stargirl when they had the chance, because Stargirl is performing really well for not only DC Universe, but also for CW. It held 100% retention rate from the pilot episode to the second episode. So
it's been great.
It's fantastic.
My kids love it. Solomon even has down. He said, "Daddy, today's what?" I said, "It's Friday." He goes, "Okay, so Monday's new Stargirl." Okay. Like, and Selah she started, like, She was mad that the first episode didn't have her costume. So when she got her costume in the second episode, she was jumping on the furniture and was excited. So my kids are loving it. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but they are getting a lot out of it.
A DC family show. I was kind of shocked, but like I said, DC. That's the one thing that DC TV's been doing. They've been kind of playing around with that family formula.
Yeah,
and I kind of like it.
And I do too. And that's what's made me very happy about Stargirl. And yeah, I mean, that would have been a great one to have at launch. I know the Snyder Cut stuff started back in November. That's when negotiations with HBO, with Warner and the Snyders actually started happening to complete it. But it would have been, or even, God forbid, I'll say this, but even if they had the air cut of Suicide Squad or something at launch, because that one would have been easier to put together.
You monster! Don't give them any ideas.
Oh, they're talking about it.
It's already. I mean,
I know.
Yeah. Well, they could have dropped a bunch of. What they could have dropped was a bunch of stuff that they have that was your Blu-ray extended editions that they have already on the shelf that maybe you didn't buy, but now it's just included. Being able to, I don't know if you can you watch all of the Supermans from 1 to 4 and then Superman Returns at the end of it right now?
I have to look.
Yeah.
See, I know at one point they were all...
that we don't know that.
Oh, Tyler, did you see HBO Max has Supergirl, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine.
You can find it.
And what's crazy?
I actually bought the movie for $5 at Walmart though, like a year ago. So.
Yeah, I have. But what kills me is just like on DC Universe how they'll rotate stuff on and off, and that's why I don't know if all the Superman movies are still there, because at one point I know they all were, but not Returns. So Returns should be on HBO Max, unless it's still on Netflix, because it was. But is DC Universe going the way of the dodo? Because besides Titans, and
we all know it is. Yeah. Okay, we know it.
Besides Titans and Young Justice, nothing else is exclusive.
Yeah,
Supergirl's going to HBO Max. Stargirl's on CW. Even they're going to be They're going to be showing that first season of Swamp Thing on CW.
What they're going to do with DCEU is they're going to do what Marvel Unlimited. They're going to cut its price and do a Marvel Unlimited where you're just going to be able to go get Action Comics #1, which I think is a perfectly viable platform for it.
I just say, like I said, mix it into HBO Max and just make HBO Max that much more of a valuable service.
Oh, but it costs money to mix it in. That's the only thing.
They already have most of it over there anyways.
Yeah,
somebody needs to give me my 90s Swamp Thing. Okay? Why is it's not on HBO Max? Is
that the Alan Moore stuff? Can they still show that stuff?
I don't know. All I know is I want my 90s TV Swamp Thing.
Oh, 90s TV Swamp Thing. Okay.
I know the other week Matt Kona was saying the first episode of the Swamp Thing animated series was on YouTube.
Yeah. There's only like 8 episodes of that thing. You know that?
What is the deal with Warner's just... Oh, could you answer that? Talk to your grandpa? Or give that to mom? Anyway.
The mustache is busy.
So, yeah, I'm sorry, it's... Yes.
I'm not a fancy man.
But, that's my thing. That's my thing with it is that why is all of Warner's stuff just spread out everywhere, and they're still spreading it out more? It's
one, they're trying to pull stuff because they're pulling their stuff slowly from Netflix because eventually Flash, Supergirl, and Legends, Black Lightning, they're going to be all off of Netflix and on HBO Max.
Well, in the U.S. They're still going to be distributing it everywhere else.
But can't I see most of that stuff on the CW app?
Well, you can only do up to 5 episodes on the CW app.
Okay, well, how many episodes do I want to watch?
Although I did see...
there are fans of the show. Millions even.
I did see that whole first season of Batwoman's already on HBO Max.
Yeah, because that one was... When that show premiered, they already said it was going to be streaming on HBO Max exclusively. So's Nancy Drew. So they're already pulling these newer CW properties to HBO Max. So they're going to.
You should watch Nancy Drew. By the way, it's good, guys.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
That's the reason to get HBO Max, but watch it.
Well-
It's a different take.
The CW
Different
app
take,
had
but I
the
like
whole
it.
first season. The CW app had the whole first season for a while to watch the whole series.
That has the same actress as I'm Not Okay With This, right?
No,
No?
different girl.
Different girl?
How about you?
That's Tristan's. This one.
So, I mean, they're just kind of. It looks like in a way they're
They're
unifying.
unraveling at the seams, and I'm just chomping at the bit. So us fans can buy DC Comics back. I'm telling you.
I
We're
want to know.
almost on the precipice, people.
I want to know where my Pennyworth season 2 is. And then
I
where's
actually
my
found where Epic is, so I agree.
So
Scroll way down on your guide.
Yeah.
You know-
Yeah, it was like 1,062, no lie.
like Gotham isn't streaming on HBO because that one's probably some weird legality.
I'm not saying
Yeah. Disney owns it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's on Netflix or Hulu. I don't know both. Who cares?
Yeah.
So I mean, I just want HBO Max to. You know what they should have done? Here we go. You ready?
Gotten their ducks in a row.
Yes.
Made for TV movie, okay, of Krypton, and wrapped up what would have done a Krypton movie and wrapped up what season 3 should have been.
Yeah.
And given us that as something cool at launch. Like they did remember when Sci-Fi used to do like a season of Battlestar and then like a movie?
Yeah.
Like give us a Krypton movie that, ties up the loose ends of season 2.
But all those things cost money, Tyler.
It would have been easier and cheaper than a Snyder cut, I bet you.
Yeah,
Most
definitely.
of the Snyder cut is already shot.
Aren't they reshooting? Aren't they
It's the
shooting?
edit. It's $31 million.
I heard
A
he,
Krypton movie would not
Trust
cost
me.
$31 million.
I heard he wanted people to come back for reshoots.
Not
Yeah, he
reshoots.
wants lots of
No,
things.
not reshoots. They agreed on no reshoots. It's just ADR.
Oh.
It's only post production.
Are they going to put the mustache back?
So it's just
You shut your mouth, Philip.
audio. It's all the
Yeah.
special effects. It's all the post production stuff because everything else was shot. So they're not shooting new footage, but they're just doing what the post production would have been.
Yeah, they're keeping Snyder on a short leash, and they're going to let him
No,
put
not
something out.
really.
Well, trust me, with Snyder, it's always shorter than the leash he wants to be on.
So my thing is just giving you something unique that says just HBO Max that has some sort of name recognition because great. Like what? Here in a few months, next year, Peacock's supposed to launch, and that's where they're going to move The Office to, and that's going to be the place to stream The Office. At this point, like you said,
Wait, hold on. NBC is trying to get in on. NBC is more of a clusterfuck than AT&T. That's all that I'm gonna say.
Lilith, you know what I saw in the commercial already. Every episode of every Law and Order ever. I mean, SVU by itself is 21 seasons.
USA wants to have a word with you.
Actually, what I'll tell you, see, Peacock basically said, the Peacock's big selling point is it's free.
Yeah, it's going to have a free
ad-supported.
version. Yeah,
Yeah, it's all ad supported. So, yeah, I know, Lilith. Yeah, unlike Lilith, you do not represent. You and Maz are not the whole of the humanity.
Well, okay, I'll say this. I mean, this segues into something I want to talk about. I just discovered today there's an NBC app that I was watching. I was watching Quantum Leap episodes for free today. Thank you very much.
The
Loved
whole
it.
Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, Quantum Leap. Original Quantum Leap. Scott Bakula, yeah. But Lilith, there were ads.
Mm-hmm.
But it was free. But it was free.
Actually, that's something I found is that
You
like on
uncultured
Tubi,
swarm.
there's lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff you can find if you don't mind an ad.
Yeah.
I mean,
and as I've always said, we all have to pee.
IMDb has their own stuff now. You can watch movies from IMDb.
Yeah,
And I'm
and
just-
great TV shows like Rockford Files, which
And-
were written to have commercials in them. You
Yeah.
know, it's like there's so much, and that I think is one of the biggest problems with the market glut is when you say, "Oh, we're going to have all of the Friends." Well, Friends was written with commercials, so if you watch it without commercials, first off, I just feel that it's Well, it won't necessarily hurt the timing of watching the show. It misses the fact that this was written with breaks in it, where there's meant to be spots where, okay, the joke ends. Here's a break, and now here's the next thing. And you know what? I think that, quite frankly, people are going to get sick of paying every single thing they want, and they go, you know what?
Then don't.
But there's so many things we want.
That's what causes ARG. That's what causes piracy. When it was just like Netflix and Hulu, piracy was at an all-time low. Now it's ticked way back up. I'm just saying. Too many choices. People are like, well, I'm not paying all that money. That's all I'm saying.
That's why
CBS, Netflix, and Marvel, and all of them, they're gonna have to work it out.
That's why people waited till they did every episode of The Mandalorian, signed up for the free trial, binged it, dropped it, because
this is the way.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
People it's.
I think that's an overstatement of how much of a dent that really made.
But no, I'm just saying it's the mindset of people being tired of all this. Like, I had to explain to my mom multiple times about CBS All Access because she was asking about the new Star Trek series, and then the Picard. I was like, Mom, it's not on CBS; it's on their streaming channel. And she's like, but why do we have CBS? And I'm like, well,
why do you have CBS?
My wife found a show where they murder people, so we have to keep it now.
It's just one of those things. It's just one of those. I got
that double
things.
Indemnity, man.
It just gets harder.
Take care of my family.
It just gets annoying because eventually it feels like everybody's going to go back to cable or something because.
I mean, basically all the streaming service cobbled together is cable, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
And if you don't have cable, they give you a surcharge if you want to go internet only. So, what are you going to do?
As an example, if you have Kindle or if you have Fire or something like that and you want HBO Max, you can get it if you have Hulu. So you can stream HBO Max as a channel within Hulu.
Although I have a big cable, I can just connect to my TV and my laptop. So
yeah,
it shouldn't be that.
God, that takes me back to like 2004.
It shouldn't be that difficult.
Everything else I can stream through that Amazon Fire Cube, my Disney Plus, my DC Universe, my CBS All Access, my Amazon Prime.
Guys, it's really just as simple of mirror casting, unless you have Quibi, which literally disables it. But Quibi is a whole nother ball of wax that I don't ever want to talk about.
I'm just saying, everything else I subscribe to, I can stream on that TV in there, except for HBO Max.
And it just, to me, is a bad thing of launching this product and not having it accessible.
It's classic, man. They just it together.
Well, let me be a devil's advocate here. Is it maybe that AT&T wants us to watch everything on our phones?
Well, to be fair, young kids do that. They live on their phone. Yeah. They watch TV on their phone. They play video games on their phone now.
Yeah, but why can't
thank you, Google Stadia.
Yeah, but why can't you do both? Why can't you offer for both?
Well, because to make it simple, Phil, if you watch it on their phone, then you've got all kinds of data issues, usage issues, amateurization issues of the phone sale and the phone upgrade. There's lots of reasons why AT&T would love if you just had one device and everyone in your family had one device to watch whatever they wanted, however they wanted, on that one device.
Yeah, but if your kid's watching TV shows on their phones, aren't you getting them the unlimited data or whatever?
Well, you can't get that with AT&T.
You connect it to their Wi-Fi and you cap their data limits.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, you would have to. So yeah, you have to be on a Wi-Fi network, and because AT&T, I don't think is offering the unlimited data package that I was lucky enough to get when they first did this for unlimited cellular data. You probably have to get a landline fiber cable from AT&T.
I must say, I had AT&T Unlimited like 4 years ago, and it was.
They're quick to cap you. That's all I'm saying.
They went to there was the pure unlimited, and then there was the where they would slow you down, and then they also had the one was like depending on your tower congestion. If your tower is a busy tower, you get slowed down. But luckily, I live far enough away from everybody that never happens.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I have never really had a major problem with my AT&T connectivity in my house with my little hotspot router. So maybe we're just lucky, but as near as I can tell, when I got it, they decided that they were going to let the unlimited be unlimited, which may be why they discontinued the unlimited. So as an early adopter, we got in right at the time where our Wi-Fi system worked out perfectly. So, but yeah, that's where we're at with all this.
Come on, AT&T, drive that DC stock down. That's all I'm waiting on. Gotta play the stock market a little more aggressively.
Hostile taker was coming from Little Hellfire.
Sounds like a blind, Jan.
Watch your back.
Now, the other option is that, like I said, AT&T at least wants people to start on their phones. That's why they delay other platforms to take it. So if you start on your phone, maybe you get used to using it on your phone. Because if you want to be on there at launch, you have to put it on your phone. And so you've gotten used to watching a few things on your phone. So that maybe when they expand it out, you still say, yeah, but I'll just watch it on my phone.
Yes, just what I want. The
it's all toilet fodder is what Charlie's saying.
Well, you know what? If you want to lie in bed quietly and watch on your phone and not have the TV on, blaring at the whole house, sometimes that's what you want, If you want to be under the covers and watch some, TV shows as a kid, that's what you want, watching it on your cell phone. So I think there might be a method in their madness. There might be a plan of what they're doing in delaying the rollout to other platforms.
Sounds like
but I mean, they released it on everything but Fire Stick and Roku. So I mean,
wait, don't you have Apple TV?
It's on Apple TV
anymore?
No, I had.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV.
No, I hadn't ordered one, and when I
okay,
yeah.
But who has Apple TV?
A lot of people have Apple TV.
Apple makes money because they're expensive, not because they have market saturation.
That's true, but a lot of people, it's very simple for old people to use too, though.
Yeah,
it's what
I'm just saying, there is market saturation, and then there is, companies that are profitable because they just charge a lot of money.
It's hipster douche. Trust me, I am not an Apple person.
And plus, if you have all Apple products, it integrates.
It makes it nice.
Integrates very easily. It does.
Well, yes, with other Apple products. Whereas other products integrate with whatever you have.
I mean, I
went with the Fire Cube this time, and now I can't watch HBO Max unless I'm on my computer. Thank you.
But
lesson learned, Philip. Don't.
Well, I mean, you don't have a Amazon phone and an Amazon computer, my friend he has Google Chromecast and has a Google phone, so that integrates. But like Apple, you have your computer, your phone, your tablet, your TV, it all integrates nicely.
Amazon's just fine on my phone and my computer, so.
But it's not an Amazon phone. I'm saying
they tried that. Nobody wanted it. You can get it for like $100 now.
Yeah, because, that's the thing. I think people want to have choices in their manufactured product. We're fine being limited in our software platform because, quite frankly, we don't really want to think too much about the software. We just want
open source, baby.
We want seamless integration, not Hacker's Paradise integration, Lilith.
I'm tired of knowing everything.
We want someone somewhere to get fired if things go wrong in our software.
You're saying
people still use Microsoft. Just saying.
And because people get fired when things go wrong at Microsoft.
Do they though, or do they just get shuffled around? I feel like
they just get shuffled around. BlackBerry.
Yeah, I'm sure people. It's a corporation, Lilith. They don't want to lose money.
You just shuffle people around. Nobody gets fired at Microsoft. Hashtag fight me.
I'm going to say it's not the Catholic Church. They I'll call it out. That's my church. I will call out the Catholic Church for its sins because that's what I should do as a good Catholic. If you don't call out the church for its sins, you aren't a good Catholic. That's my motto. But I think that a company like Amazon, definitely a company like Amazon, you get fired.
Amazon loves to fire people.
They'll fire you as soon as look at you. So, I mean, Microsoft may say, "Well, we are a family, and we'll find a place for you." But it ain't going to be in charge of security after what you screwed up, And that's what people want. They want to know there are consequences. And big faceless corporations, at least to some extent, have consequences when they screw up. Not like legal consequences.
Or your information gets breached and you don't find out about it for 3 years, but you were a blissful idiot. So what does it matter?
Yeah, well, but that's the problem. But with open source, if anyone can write the program, then anyone can go into the program. So I don't see how open source solves the problem.
Hey.
If you want to live in an open universe, have an open source. I guess that's fine.
Hey, enough of these mega corporations. Who wants to talk some comics?
Yay!
Phil's Comics Corner.
If you want to hear Charlie and I's thoughts on Avengers 33, be sure to check out Into the Moon Knight, a Moon Knight podcast.
Yeah. We can talk about it now, too. I got lots more to say. I kept it brief for Ray,
He did like 2 episodes. He did a short one. You can hear me on there with my drops. And Lilith, Charlie, I think Matt Kona dropped. But Matt Kona dropped
the wrong Moon Knight issue. The wrong Avengers issue, but it's fine.
Well, he did the original Avengers 33.
That's right.
Sadly, Moon Knight was not. I wonder which one that was. Is that the one with Vision?
No. It has, I think, was it Cap or Giant Man has like one of the Sons of the Serpent and like a full Nelson or something.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, here's something I got this week because there are old books.
-1.
Yes. So. No, it's number 1, Flashbacks, The Amazing Spider-Man #1, Flashbacks. Peter Parker, 3 years before he got his bit by a spider. And, man, let me tell you, this, I am so in love with Stan Lee from this book, because it is like the Stan Lee-iest Stan Lee I've ever read. And I got to tell you, you get to Stan's soapbox this month, and buy it for the soapbox, kids. That's what I got to tell you. Let me find the soapbox here. He's talking about this new hit film that Marvel is producing about this guy named Blade, the vampire hunter. And you know what? This is the crazy part. They've got so many stars, they even had room to put Stan Lee in it.
Stan Lee in a movie? Let's get out of here.
Stan Lee is in the movie. He says, we might have a contest to see if you can find me. And it is just, it's wonderful. We have, and I got it. First off, again, Stan Lee as like a superheroic crypt keeper is really great. Where he comes in, tells corny jokes to set up the story in his bombastic style. Then we get into the story. Essentially, the plot line is Peter that Aunt May is yelling at Peter and Uncle Ben to clean out the attic. They do the work. Peter finds all of Uncle Ben's old comics, from the 40s, these crazy comics that don't look anything like the monster comics he's used to. You've got this, I don't know, what are these titles like Marvel Comics and Marvel Adventure, and it's very interesting when he goes to actually read them, because he had never really read superhero comics before, and they explain that essentially, these were paragons of virtue. These are these very fascinating characters he first gets exposed to. There is a cool little subplot going on at the Daily Bugle between, I think this was the guy from the Alex Ross books, Phil Sheldon, and then there's this other guy who we really don't know who he is, but he's all mad because he's getting fluff pieces and he wants to do a true gritty crime story, and he finds out about how there's a new guy muscling in on the Don of all Dons work. And this I love. We have Peter as like all kinds of Golden Age heroes. You got him as the Angel, Human Torch, the Wizard, the Vision, the original Vision. And, you find out that the boss of all bosses, he's got this interesting henchman. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen at the end of this story. Oh. They also have this nice thing with Don Rigoletto and Don Fortunato, where basically, they each have eye patches, but one is gray and one is black, and they're over the opposite eyes, Suffice it to say, you get a lot of the influence of things that happen to Peter. Basically, the Kingpin, when he sees his power, tries to put a hit on Don Fortuna, but the sad sack reporter luckily, causes a diversion that causes Don Fortuna to be able to kill all the other mobsters. But he has to go to ground. And he tells this other reporter that he owes him a favor. I don't know if that ever came back in Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know if Don Fortuna ever came back. But very cool. But we also see how Spider-Man gets inspired after this young punk here knocks over Aunt May, spraining her ankle. He says, if only I had a way to reach out and grab him. And then we see Peter, he's given away all his old comic books, which they then call back to, gee, if only the Parkers had hung on to those, they wouldn't have been in so many financial straits. We see him designing his first web shooters.
Burn.
And then you get another backup about just this things you never knew about 13-year-old Peter Parker. Like the fact that he actually didn't need glasses. They were actually reading glasses that Aunt May gave him because she was always worried that he was reading too much. And the fact that he was, kind of weak and wimpy, but never gave up, which is my inspiration for a great what if that has never been told. What if Peter Parker had become Captain America, where he gets drafted into Vietnam, and they give him the super soldier serum because he is a perfect 4F specimen. So, loved this book. This was definitely my pick of the week.
Ooh.
Enjoyed it, yes.
But yeah,
and it was free.
Oh,
it was one of the free books my comic guy puts up at the start of a lot of his Facebook grabs. Where he puts up all the books that wind up costing me $58 by the end of the week. But this one he says, okay, free one before we start. Everyone grab a book, and if you get in first, you can say, I want that one, and then you get it, and I got it. Stole it from somebody else. Although another guy grabbed The Secret Defenders with Nomad that I did not even know.
Phil's gonna beat you up for not taking that one.
That guy got there first. I thought I was the first, and actually, my comic book guy said it's yours. Then I had guilt because I said I know that other guy got here first, and so I said, yeah, actually, I think the other guy got here first. And so, but I've never read The Secret. I didn't even know there was a Secret Defenders with Nomad. And now I'm all like mad and excited.
That was the whole point of Secret Defenders in the 90s. Basically, Doctor Strange would bring in like 3 or 4 heroes who were popular at the time for, a different arc. They were bringing in like a different team.
Yeah. So anyway, so I missed that, but it was, but the cover had Nomad on it. I was like very excited about it. So
Nomad.
I love my Nomad. Anyway, but yeah, so that was my first book. What did you guys read?
Nothing. Did anyone read Amazing Spider-Man?
Lilith. I did.
I know you did.
I'm still waiting for my shop to open.
Oh, man.
Oh.
You're not even doing curbside?
Nope.
Oh.
My man, my guy said he was not going to listen to a Democratic governor, and he never closed.
Well, there you go.
Exactly.
You gotta eat, man. You gotta eat.
But Lilith, what did you think about the whole GOG thing, especially where he ends up?
I thought it was simple. Like, it's a simple story. It was kind of like photographed a whiles away, but it had a lot of good character moments and a lot of humor. Like, I miss Spider-Man's humor, so I'm really loving this take.
And I like the art on this. I mean, it's our buddy from Invincible.
Exactly.
But no spoilers. Yes, this intergalactic creature is now Peter Parker's pet, and wears an inhibitor collar so it can't access the Pym particles to make itself a giant again. Because that's not going to blow up in anyone's face, is it, Charlie Esser? Huh?
That's a little kinky. That was a little too kinky for my taste. But hey,
wait, who's this God guy? Is this like a '60s monster?
It's like a creature.
He looks like Sandman on crack, is what he looks like, with a little bit of Solomon Grundy DNA.
Is he like sentient? Because if that case, it's kind of weird.
It's super weird.
You can't keep a house elf, man. That's just wrong.
It's like he seems very simple.
Hermione taught them nothing.
He's like a smart dog almost. At least that's how they played it in this story.
Okay, so he's a talking dog.
Well, he doesn't even really talk.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I think when he first showed up, he like showed up in the Savage Land. So one of the things where Craven was like controlling him.
Okay.
We got to get Craven stuff to do.
So he could grow and shrink, and now he's just doggy size. But is he a happy dog at the end of it?
Well, he seems happy living with Peter and his roommates.
Okay, well, there you go. Him and Captain Boomerang, they think that's cool. Is he still hanging with Captain Boomerang?
Boomerang! No Captain!
Yes, Boomerang!
How many times did we have this conversation? He was never Captain Boomerang.
I think he was at one point Captain. He was at one point Outback. He should have kept.
We know what we know the stuff you remember.
I remember nothing.
Keep the apple juice cold. That's the only thing you ever need to remember.
Okay, so him and Boomerang.
Lilith,
I'm just saying it sounds better if you put a captain in front of it.
I know. Legends of Tomorrow would agree with you. That's why they call her Captain Sarah Lance.
Yes.
Boom! Which, by the way, we do have to talk that finale, Philip.
What? Yeah, we'll talk to finale.
Oh, is that the finale?
No, Tuesday.
This Tuesday coming.
So Lilith. So next episode of Legends, we'll talk a Flash issue, Legends finale, and 2 Stargirl episodes.
Men.
All right.
Lilith, you want to throw a comic book out?
Marauders number 10. I know I'm the only one keeping this damn book afloat, but it's the best X-Men book you're not reading, as I say every freaking time this issue comes out. Pirates, man.
They're all clones.
Pirates, man.
They're all clones anyway.
Yeah, but they're cool clones. They're the cool kids. You should be reading that.
I know you love clones.
I love them, except for one.
How dare you?
But no, this book has all the action. It's not like everybody moping around having thruples. That's all I'm saying.
Cyclops, Wolverine, and
they're doing stuff. They're getting into fights and blowing stuff up, and I don't know. Like sometimes you just need a fun book, man. And Marauders is that fun book for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you? I know we're always talking its praises. Did you read Lois Lane number 10?
I did. It's kind of losing steam, but that's okay.
Well, we're getting to the end.
They're going to have to do something because of the show, I'm assuming.
Oh. So. We're going to have to unbend this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're going to want that show to match.
Yeah, it's Rucka, so it's better, but...
The only thing I got this week, I haven't read it, is issue number 6 of Superman Man of Tomorrow. But I just haven't. I was going to read it in the doctor's office, but I didn't get to.
Yeah, some of those digital ones, the Batman.
I really like it.
I like the first week. I thought some of them were like simple, but I think they've been getting better. Like as the weeks have been going by, they've been getting some good stories in those. So, like last week, we had a Batman, Nightwing, Harley Quinn adventure.
Yeah,
I'm really liking that book.
Yes, because it's free of someone's control.
Yes, yeah. I think that's why we're all trying to enjoy it. But I'm just gonna say, Supergirl 41 was a hot mess, and a lot of people agree.
Is it limping to the finish line? Because that's canceled.
It is. It's got her legs blown off. She's got an eye patch at this point. It looks like a terrible game of Hangman that she's losing at this point. It's awful. I don't even know what they're doing.
They're just taking her out. Like Supergirl is definitely a character that
she's so disrespected.
Yeah, and they never know what to
It
do
drives me
with.
crazy.
They always like kill her or like take her out of the game for a couple years. Then they always bring her back to this triumphant return, and they treat her well for like a few years, but then the cycle starts again, and she just gets disrespected, and taken out.
That they're like, oh, we can give her own story. She can carry her own book.
She can if it's written well.
And then they're like, maybe we messed up.
Doesn't she have a TV show?
Yes, but have you watched the TV show? How some of the plot lines are just Superman stories with her in them?
Some of them?
Yeah,
Tyler, that's
What do you
very
mean by
generous.
that her stories are just Superman stories with her in them? That makes them her stories.
Yeah, but I think he means like Superman villains and certain plots.
She has her own
Yeah, I mean,
rogues gallery, believe it or not.
They adapt a well-known Superman story. Like they tried to do their version of Red
It makes
Sun.
you feminine.
They tried to
No,
do
they don't know
for the
that's not
man
how
who has
feminism works.
everything. But instead of just they're like, oh yeah, this Superman story. This we'll just go ahead and make it a Supergirl story.
Yeah,
At least Batwoman had that going for it. It didn't do that.
And I will agree with you.
They made Hush their own. I will say that.
That's
That's a whole nother thing. I didn't say it was good, but they made don't you dare hashtag feminism. That's the episode of Flash we don't speak of, along with the singing episode. Those
I tell you right now, Batwoman.
Duet is garbage.
That musical episode was not bad. Fight me, nerd.
Batwoman wasted
Duet is
Duella Dent.
trash.
They could have made Duella Dent into a character that was really interesting, but they
had
wasted
Duella
her.
Dent in Batwoman?
Yeah, they wasted her in a really crummy episode.
Oh, well, that's just sad. Duella Dent's cool.
They could have
Oh,
really
we
made
didn't really
her.
talk about that, did we, Phil? That
What?
Ruby Rose is leaving. We didn't talk about that on Capes, did we?
On Legend, yeah,
I know
that
we
was game. On Legends we did. Yeah, Ruby Rose leaving Batwoman.
Nah.
And I say Aaron Richards to replace her. It wouldn't be that jarring.
I could see that. I like
the girl that from Krypton that people are pitching
Yeah,
to, but I love
Wallace
Aaron.
Day.
I want good
Thank
things
you.
for Stabby Babs.
I like Wallace Day from Krypton because she looks similar, and she looks similar to Rachel Scarsden or whatever.
You meant the Rachel Scarsden, the one playing the sister, man.
Yeah, like let's get people who actually
They
look
might
like
have to pay her extra for double duty though, and you know that
Well,
CW budget.
Kill off Alice or swap faces, something. Just have her be Kate.
Mm. Yeah. No, you know.
Oh, He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse number 6 came out, and that is definitely my pick of the week.
Oh,
A++. Yeah, if
I was
you
debating
read
getting
this,
that.
you're crazy. You should get it. I think you'd really like it.
You know, my problem with He-Man is I grew up with He-Man, and I'm not convinced you can go deep on He-Man.
Did you like the reboot cartoon from the early 2000s,
I
Charlie?
loved it from 2009. Yes, that one was great.
Since I was 44 in 2009, no.
I liked the
sorry,
DuckTales. Don't you dare!
I like
DuckTales has
the
always
He-Man.
had depth. Barks is a genius and created a universe that can expand forever. Okay.
I like the reboot.
Well, that's
they
your
did
loss. People that ain't
of-
checking for He-Man in
of
2020.
He-Man
It's
and
your
of
loss.
Thundercats.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Dolph Lundgren said it best. I'm running around in a fur Speedo. There's only so much I can do with that role.
It's like something Charlie Esser would say.
But it's something Dolph
I
Lundgren
think it's
said.
really good, but I like the multiverse angle on it.
Yeah.
It's the end of an era. Tim Silly wrote it, so that's why I think Phil might like it.
Oh.
Like Tim Silly does know how to give a character depth, and he knows how to drive the plot. So I think that is definitely why I originally picked it up, and he did not disappoint. And the art by Tom Dernick is amazing. I love it so much. It's really good. And it gave Skeletor it fleshed out. It fleshed out Skeletor. Hit the Kona button.
No. I did like He-Man as a kid, and I did enjoy its lore and its history because it did have a lot of lore for.
That's why I
And
think
they fleshed it out, and it's great.
Yeah.
That's what I think is fascinating about it is it has this lore, and
They
that's
did
why
nothing with.
Yeah, that's why I would like to see. It has a lot of potential.
I loved when they revealed his mom was from Earth. That was my favorite part when I was a kid. So, I'm talking about the original He-Man stories. I don't know about these reboots you kids watch today.
Yeah, no, I'm OG He-Man too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched them both. I'm a true fan. I'm a fan.
Was Orko in it? Lilith, was Orko in it? Does Orko feature prominently in the stories?
Of course.
Not prominently, but he doesn't need to. It's not about him.
Oh.
Because honestly, Prince Adam needed to be fleshed out. That's the problem. That's why they think he's very dull and shallow, and they needed to take the. They had a lot of great side characters in He-Man, and they do get fleshed out in a lot of these books, but it's been Prince Adam that hasn't really been the feature in the books, and they actually did it with this one and gave him some really cool character dynamics.
I don't know. I guess on part of me, it's just thinking, Orko's entire thing is he's a multiversal character. He's from another universe, which is why his magic doesn't work in this universe. He's actually insanely powerful, but he lost his, physics conversion medal. And that's like, okay, in the old school story, maybe they've retconned that all away. Maybe now he's just an idiot. But originally he was Orko the Magnificent, one of the greatest sorcerers in the Omniverse. And then he accidentally lost his, medal that allowed him to travel between universes and maintain his amazing magical powers outside of his original home universe. So, then wackiness ensued.
As you do, because it was the 80s.
Hey, who wants to know my pick of the week?
What was your pick of the week, Phil?
What is it, Philip? I wonder what it could be.
What? No, take a guess.
Was there a Bat book that came out this week?
Is it Marvel or DC?
DC.
Oh, let's see. Was it Flash?
No, that was good. Was
it Batman Beyond?
No, I didn't get Batman Beyond today.
I don't even know what's out right now.
Unless it was late to my store, because I saw some of the stuff on time, and I'm like, "Is this coming out this week?" My guy's like, "No." Was
it the Terrifics? What was it?
Green Lantern season 2, number 3.
Oh,
they're finally giving me what I want.
Green Lantern has seasons now?
I guess they went 12. Then they did a 3-issue miniseries I didn't pick up in between. Yeah, and then they did season 2. Instead of just renumbering, I guess now they're just going by.
But why is it season 2? Is it supposed to be if this was a live action Green Lantern?
I guess yearly. I don't know, because they did 12, I think, and then they renumbered. So
okay.
Because
the extended season thing, that's something that you do when you're doing a comic book based on an old TV show and want to show its continuity.
Like Smallville season 11.
Exactly.
Which is excellent. And they should make the animated cartoon revival based around that. And that's what that's what HBO Max should be working on instead of the Snyder Cut. I know a lot of people want to see it, but I have other projects that could use the $31 million.
Why?
You know what they should have did?
Crisis.
You know what they should have did? They should have made Justice League Dark Apocalypse War an HBO Max exclusive and included those other 15 films you were supposed to watch so that I could go oh, okay, so that's a reference to this, and this is that. And then I could watch all 15 films in one place and get the entire Apocalypse saga. Because that was a ready-made product that they had, would have cost them nothing to do it that way, and they would have gotten people to go in and say, oh man, this is so great, I get to watch that entire animated DC universe, and I can watch the entire Apocalypse War, including the new final cut, the final episode of the 15-episode saga. This is going to be amazing.
Charlie, and this is what happens when you don't hire Capes and Lunatics. Just saying, it's what happens when you don't hire us.
And I'm just saying, it's that's the brilliance. That would have been perfect. Because that dropped a week before HBO Max dropped. So would have they lost that much money just having that be the cherry on the top of...
digitally it came out too...
digitally came out earlier.
Whatever, a month. Okay, they lost a month of people paying $20 to see a mediocre cartoon. It's really, let's be honest. It was a mediocre cartoon that would be less mediocre if you had seen all the films that had come before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody who was invested in the universe liked it, so.
Well, that's the thing, but you could have created a situation where not only could people have seen that, but those who hadn't seen it, and people said, "Oh man, but it's going to fit in so perfectly into the whole storyline." Then you could have had that interconnection. You could have had that expanded universe, and that would have gotten people excited about buying into HBO Max that first day. I'm just saying that just seems like that was obvious. Why didn't they do that?
Because it's AT&T. They're not good at planning.
I think part of it is just that there's so many properties like that's sprinkled throughout. Like there's certain of those films that are on Hulu that you can watch, and there are some that are on DC Universe, and some. So that's.
Well, first off, they own DC Universe, so there should not be any reason why you can't have something on HBO Max and DC Universe.
I mean, I'm surprised at the stuff that's on Disney Plus that's on HBO Max.
Disney makes deals.
Interesting. I'm just saying that's just interesting. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, and it's not like these guys aren't eating off the same sandwich. They all got that big party hero sub. They're all going to take their pieces, and they're all going to be touching each other. So, you got to deal with everybody to get these things done.
What this again?
Well, you never had like a big party sub, and it's all the pieces that are stuck together.
I don't even eat birthday cake because people blow the candles out. So.
Well, for those of us who socialize, so back in the day, right now Lilith is like, I don't understand what's everyone complaining about. But back in the day, we used to go to grand events, and there'd be large amounts of food that we would all touch and eat. Tristan agrees with you, Lilith. But
yeah, it's a thing, man.
Gobble gobble.
This is how the world this is what the before times were. And
I'm glad I didn't see it.
And this was a glorious time. And this is the digital version of that. Disney will make deals. AT&T needs to make deals, and they need to get their content in one place so that they can have something that you can have as a contiguous
What they need is new
story.
leadership. That's what they need. They need new leadership.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. A leader can only do so much. You need people that are actually leading from behind. You need people that actually are doing stuff if nothing else, you may have this mindset where people feel too dang comfortable in their jobs at AT&T because it's like, we're AT&T.
Out of there, so to start.
We're my bell, we don't have to worry about, what we're going to do tomorrow. So we're going to just do what we have done. And so long as we don't screw up, it's basically, the problem with a huge monopoly or a huge oligopoly or monopoly or whatever you want to call it, any large corporation or any communist state is that the risk of trying and failing outweighs the risk of trying and succeeding. So if you try and succeed, you will have a grand outcome, and your loss will be backstopped in most situations. Like, you're not going to go to the gulag because you drilled an oil well and it didn't pay off. You're going to lose your money, but you're going to be okay.
I don't know what's going on.
In a large corporation, if you make the mistake that loses money, you're the one that gets called out for losing money. Even if it was money we had to lose, even if what happened doesn't really affect our bottom line, and it was a great risk that if it had paid off would have been amazing, people get risk averse. For what it's worth, I will say this: Disney, for as big and corporate as it is and as controlled as it is not risk averse, and it's willing to eat its failures. It's willing to try new things, go out on a limb, and if it fails, it fails. But you know what? That doesn't mean the whole thing is
that's what Disney was built on as a company motto, too. That was what Walt was all about. So, you're talking about, actual company culture and philosophy, things that they actually believe in versus, AT&T.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. And I think that is probably HBO's problem, Warner's problem, AT&T, AOL's problem. Although, actually, I think AOL actually did get spun off from all of them. So AOL may be its own company now. which means they lost that entire brand. Again, short-sightedness. You know, you don't get rid of the brand of the internet from the 80s just because, now it's not as hip. It's like, dude, you know things cycle. You know, eventually, if you were to relaunch AOL
is
now,
never making a comeback, homie. I'm sorry to break it.
Trust me. Let me put it to you AOL existed as a one-stop shop for the internet before there was an internet. AOL was
I remember what AOL was, and it was trash, and I was so glad that was done with. Like a lot of people.
Okay, Lilith. Maybe for you people that, shun, advancement technology and the hoi polloi. But for the hoi polloi, of which I was a happy member...
I don't know what he said, but I think he insulted you.
AOL. No, she actually takes it as a compliment. She has no interest in the hoi polloi.
It was all about DSL for me, so,
Yeah.
Hearing for another human being.
Well, okay, and that's the other thing. Of course, Lilith, is like 40 years younger than me.
And I'm a city kid, so.
Yeah, so... Hey, I grew up in a city. It wasn't a city when I was born there, but it was a city by the time I grew up there. Yes, that is true.
Try to make you listen to all this.
Okay.
Wait, I do have one more pitch before we go, though. I want to give a shout out to Colin Bunn, Rogue Planet #1 over on Oni Press. If you are a Firefly fan, this might be right up your alley. It's about this salvage vessel crew on a ship called the Cortez. They're tracking a lonely planet that has a whole bunch of goodies that they want to steal, and shenanigans and horrors and soup and bear. The artwork by Andy McDonald is great. If you got $4 to spend, I think you might enjoy it.
What is it, Rogue Planet?
Yep, #1.
Well, since no one wanted to talk Green Lantern, Lilith, did you read Venom 25?
I did, but I don't know why.
I mean...
why is this still a book again?
I mean, the main story is basically him just, talking to the Avengers, basically, recapping everything that's happened in the last year?
Yeah, what was this for? Because I was like, it's issue 25, baby. What are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The main story was him talking to the Avengers, and then there was that backup story that kind of takes place behind the scenes after Amazing Spider-Man 347, where he's basically fighting guys on that island, a la Oliver Queen.
I'm confused. I don't know what we're doing anymore. I think that's my last Venom book for a while.
I haven't picked up
Why is Venom talking to the Avengers?
Because
everybody has to talk to the Avengers now. Didn't you get the memo, Charlie?
Okay, but I guess I'm just
everybody has to cycle through.
Literally, he said, I want people to look at me the way they look at Spider-Man.
Okay, well maybe stop eating people. Because you didn't used to. That's all new, man. Wasn't even you. That was that Matt Garrigan thing. Oh
no, he threatened that back in the 90s, eating people's brains and stuff.
He threatened, but he never did.
A couple of bulls down the gob.
As far as we know.
Hey, Lilith.
What happens off panel stays off panel.
Lilith.
A couple of bulls down the gob.
Yeah. Oh, my.
See what happens when you don't listen to an episode of Scarlet Spider?
A couple of bulls down the gob.
Because that is
that's sausage fest. Well, I know you boys have some other things to do. So, on that note.
Yes, on that note, since, yeah. Mm-hmm.
On that note.
Yeah, so, to check out the comic books everyone else recommended, send us your thoughts on HBO Max, the Snyder Cut. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all YouTube. I'll have to put our new StreamYard up on Linktree. That's linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support the sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Hunt a Killer, Pod Life the Book. Volume 1 is now in digital and paperback. Volume 2 is in the works with young Mr. Tyler Patrick.
It's going to be a fun chapter.
That's right.
You guys will like it.
I bet. And when you go to buy any of that, use the link for Amazon for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes, because send somebody to rob Master Doom Southgate because he cannot afford to shave or put pants on.
Go back and look at my history, and you will find out I am right so much more often than I'm wrong. Mark my words.
Tyler Patrick, where can people find you in the Krypton Report?
You can find me at Krypton Report Podcast, basically there, anywhere on Facebook, Twitter. It's the best place to find me.
I'm tired of knowing everything.
And he does. Lilith Hellfire.
If you nerds want to find me on the interwebs, find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire or on Instagram with the cool kids at Lilith Hellfire 86 or at Lilith Hellfire 69 because I'm a child and I think that's funny. 10 more episodes, guys. Get ready.
What?
10 more episodes.
Oh, you
Get
said
ready.
2. I thought you said 2. I was going to say, what's 161?
I'm not drunk. I know how to count.
Speaking of drunk, Charlie Esser, where can people find you?
Well, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Boz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet things that I can stay up for, which sadly was not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week, because it started at 10 p.m., and I was asleep by 9:30. Oh, the sorrows of my life. I did tweet the last 15 minutes of it, but that was not enough. Anyway, I will try better next time, I promise. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing.
Thank you, Maz.
And pause. All right. Who knows what's coming next week?
Give Tristan his shekel.
Oh, yeah, pause. But for another week, we have been your capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Okay, you guys got to work that out. You guys got to do that at the start of the show. You got to say, okay, so we're going to be the Lunatics.
So it'll be Kate and Loon.
The ticks.
I'll give you that.
Or I'll just say Luna. And you got
I
Kate.
got the smallest word, guys. You guys can fight over the other 2.
You got Luna.
Ticks.
There you go.
You probably last her alone. That's the smallest one.
Now dance, puppets dance. Don't you hear the music?
Not much for dancing.
Spark Master.